Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to episode 7 of the Reality Wagon Bachelor podcast. My name is Anthony,
My name is Andrew.
My name is Spencer.
and whoever keeps sending us gifts has gotten increasingly more ridiculous, seemingly by the minute. I had no idea. I'm assuming, and I not assuming. I know it was on the Wagon 3 at On the Wagon 3 because they've spent more on this show than fucking I have. And yeah, so it was eggs last week. What? It was 3 dozen eggs.
Almost out.
Yeah, apparently Spencer's blowing through those eggs. That is not an indication for you to buy him more fucking eggs. I swear to fucking God, don't do it.
Yeah.
You should.
Don't, Spencer. That's unfair. Furthermore, no one told me that Lunchables were sent to...
I was going to save it for when we were actually on the podcast, but I'm like...
But the thing is, you didn't know the significance of them at all.
I didn't. That's why I wanted to learn about it on the podcast.
Me and Andrew
were
Spencer
really, had no
confused.
idea.
It's a complete throwaway joke. We were talking about Matt's like bad charcuterie boards that he's been making like as like a joke on Instagram. Me and On the Wagon. And all of a sudden, Lunchables. We're sponsored by Lunchables. Thank you so much, Lunchables, for your continued support of the podcast. You are showing a lot of faith in us where maybe we aren't even seeing it ourselves. So thank you so much. I forgot how wet the meat is in a Lunchable.
It was sopping.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, pretty slimy.
It's really gross. I was never allowed to have Lunchables when I was a kid. Never allowed. My parents just wouldn't get them for me.
Are they healthy for you? I've never had them.
Look at it.
Healthy.
Does that look healthy to you?
We've got fucking 7 of them.
Well, it's like General Brand, like Ritz crackers, Kraft's cheese, and then the fake bologna that you got in those super circular packets that never came together.
What
came
constitutes
apart.
fake bologna? Bologna's already fake.
You know it in the yellow pack.
It's ham. It's not bologna. No,
Oh,
this is
it's not?
ham. This is ham.
That's ham. Why is it in a circle shape? That's
It's
alarming.
Oscar Mayer lean ham with water added. It is only 260 calories in this whole thing.
That's not even that.
That's a lot of
nutrient-
calories for that much food.
How much does a growing child's need for a lunch?
I
Depends.
assume
How
at
many
least
calories?
2,000 calories a day.
How many calories in a packable lunch? In a snackable packable lunch?
I don't know. I guess 260 is good.
In a Lunchable lunch? Maybe? I don't know.
I mean, I know a can of Coke is like 150. So
A very it's a very healthy addition to a growing child's.
A can of Coke and a Lunchable.
Yeah, it's like a 14 grams of protein, not so bad.
Eat like a man.
If the ham wasn't so fucking gross, you might catch me eating one of these, but
Eat it. Eat it. Eat
oh,
it.
it honestly just sounds gross. It has a bounce.
put it on my mic. I have to get close to
Put it on your mic. You just did it like 5 times.
I said I slapped it off the mic. That's on me.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm muting. I'm gonna mute my section right now as I try to clean off my fucking
That is
pop filter.
disgusting. You did lay it out nicely for yourself. So I thought you were going to eat it, but that just came out
Should've
so
eaten it.
wrong. Oh, now you have to deal with that smell for another hour.
my mic smells like processed meat.
Ugh.
This is fucking gross. What a terrible decision by me.
Toss me a cracker.
What?
Toss me a cracker.
You want dude? It's just a Ritz cracker. Like
No, not the one that was touching the ham.
it didn't touch the ham.
It was. I just saw you drag it.
I
down.
grabbed the one from the bottom of the pile.
Fine.
You have fucking 6 more Lunchables in your fridge. That's it. Eat that. Just munch that cracker right into the
Well,
mic.
to be fair, you're the one that slapped ham against the mic.
Mine was
multiple
funny
times.
though. Like no one wants to hear chewing into the mic. Miracle. It didn't sound like I was chewing when I was eating all that beef jerky like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought that'd be picked up. I mean, you can mute. That's why with the beauty of 3 mics and 3 inputs, you can mute your mic.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, off to a weird start. I'm hoping we're not giving On the Wagon any inspiration as to what to get us next week. Just don't. Furthermore, we found out during the episode that someone ordered us a Heather Martin cameo,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
probably the same person.
I'm a little
Had to have
upset
been.
that I wasn't mentioned in the cameo.
Well, I mean, whose podcast is it, Spencer?
It's
We
yours,
are
but
in the
I
bio.
appear on
It's
the
like we're
podcast.
literally you're guest starring still.
We have done 2 other full series.
We've done 2 full series. We do all the production work for it. We do all the editing, everything. I do all the promotion.
I bring the pizzazz.
You certainly do,
You bring
but
the
apparently
clipping.
not enough to get in the Heather Martin cameo. Not enough pizzazz for that. But the easily the hottest girl to ever say my name.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, like narrowly edging out my grandmother.
Yeah.
Narrowly edging out my grandmother for that title, but yeah, Heather, keep up the good work. Weird, I mean, not weird, but I think if you were there for the entire season, you probably would have gotten, you probably would have stayed and been like a contender this year.
I agree. I think she would have at least made it to like week 4 or 5.
Showing up now at the end of this and like trying to like pitch it. I mean, the fact that you were able to she was able to make enough of an impression on Matt there for that like he would even consider it is pretty huge.
That's what he was saying. He was
The
saying
homie
it's
was into it.
Yeah, I mean, he was into it, but he even said himself, he's like, it's way too far along in the process,
Which
you know?
good on him for that.
Yeah, he's like, it's not fair to the other girls that have been here for, I mean, we don't know, week 6 in the show, we don't know how long actually.
Week 7 in the show.
Well, no, but I mean, like, it's been 6 full weeks, but I don't know how long in the show that is, if it's actually weekly to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with him. I think it would have been unfair. I think it's the right decision. You know, some of the girls coming in like week 3 or week 4, that was fine. We still had 20 girls, and you could barely remember all their name, but
Right.
yeah, I think it's all right.
Yeah, I agree. The
girls were fuming about it.
The girls,
They were panicking.
Before he sent her away, yeah.
Like this is to me this is an excellent episode and it's a great case study in like you could almost do like a psychological case study in like groupthink and pack mentality and like ostracization and dividing like groups. Like this is
a lot of those psych vocabulary words come into mind, yeah?
No, but that's not even me just flexing any
No,
sort of psych anything. I'm just running through and being like, it's almost like not like a Stanford prison experiment type thing, but like you clearly create haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden haves are people that have been there for fucking 3 weeks longer than other people. And then those haves have all this righteousness to go ahead and like
yeah, they feel like they've staked their claim,
target
basically.
other people. It's like it's one super immature and then also two like really kind of scary to watch, like how quickly they're able to just flip on and turn on somebody they've never met. Heather was there for Heather quarantined for 2 weeks, rented a fucking van, got into the show, whatever like that. Was there for 5 minutes, was rejected by Matt and yelled at by 10 women. And
Kind of sad when you push it all together like that.
Yeah, all of that, all of that for maybe probably like an hour of production time, maybe max.
Yeah, it was honestly just crazy to see. It's similar to like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, like kind of mentality that where it's like it's weird because they're all competing against each other. And for some reason, that just the fact they've all been there like the whole time, pretty much. I think at this point, none of them were like the new people. I think.
No.
Who came in afterwards?
Michelle.
Michelle, you're right.
Said it.
I think so.
Michelle's the only. Actually, I can check now. But.
Well, regardless, like she was hated at the start for being new, and then she kind of collapsed in with him. With all the other people.
But she didn't actually.
But all the shitheads got.
But yeah, but
off.
all of them are now agreeing with each other now. They basically found a common enemy.
No, Heather. No, they're not. There were 2 people that didn't come at Heather in that group, and it was Bree and Michelle. Bree and Michelle were the only 2 that didn't speak up and say anything that was like really mean and nasty to.
Weren't they in like weren't they on the couch?
Yeah, but they didn't say anything.
Okay, they didn't speak out against it. You know what I mean? Like they're still.
I think in that situation, that's. What else are you gonna fucking do? Yeah, they didn't outwardly tell them all to stand down, but they didn't contribute to the issue any further.
They didn't contribute.
They didn't
to the
shit
issue.
talk Heather to her face.
But it's not like that would have made it worse for any of them. You know what I mean? Like
I'm just saying you can't lump them in with the big group of girls that attacked Heather.
Okay, fine. They weren't in the group of attacking Heather. Well, regardless of that, they were fine. It's interesting to see that they all, like you were saying, finding a common enemy when they only have so many weeks there to get, and they're all competing against each other anyway.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was they all panicked. And I understand, like, it's a lot of stress being on the show, but, like, in order to win, you have to like just be confident in yourself and just do your thing. And panicking does not help that. And they all panicked so hard. And it kind of like, it kind of turned me off on all of them because they're all just like so immature.
Yeah, that was a huge turn-off point for me for a lot of this show. Is I was able to sit there for much of this and just be like, oh, this is a pretty decent group of girls. And then also, because you sit there and you go like, oh, well, a lot of them were whatever victimized by Victoria at the start,
Yeah.
and then all the new girls came, and then like that group mentality thing turned into like a really like big group and a couple outliers on the outside. Some girls decided to not say anything, which is, I guess I don't even know what other way to say it other than what's like I can't equate it to this. I did it for Big Brother, so I'll do it again now. And I think you made a very bad comment about it last time. Not a bad comment, but a comment that it was really hard for me to dig out of. So avoid saying it again. Is that it was that poem, which is like first they came for the Russians, but I'm not Russian, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for the gypsies, but I'm not a gypsy, so I didn't say anything.
I don't
It's
remember
the
this at all.
old Holocaust poem.
No, I understand what it's referencing. I don't understand what I said about during Big Brother.
You made like wow, I guess we're equating Big Brother to the Holocaust now, and I was like, that's not the joke.
I don't think I did that at all.
It's on record. I remember I had
Can you
to
pull that up for me?
now. Yeah, right now. I'll pull
Not
it
right
up
now.
right
Later
now.
on, you moron.
I don't remember what you said, but it wasn't. It was hard to navigate out of last time, but it's very similar to kind of how this is right now. Is that like in terms of and this was in the bigger group. Obviously, they're down to like 4 girls now, so maybe it's not an issue like that, and I don't think it is. But when it was the bigger group, it just seemed like anything to prevent yourself from being the object of everyone else's hatred for whatever reason.
The
was-
independent.
Yeah,
Also, is it 4 or 5?
there's 4 left.
Who is it? Michelle, Bree, Serena P, Rachel?
Yes.
I thought there was one more. Maybe
No,
not.
there's no one else.
There's a rose ceremony right at the end, remember?
No, I know. I just can't remember who else. I thought there was a 5th one that stayed.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've gathered so far. Is that it's just more like I wanted to like this group more, and I think at the beginning I did, and I thought once you got rid of all the bad people, once you got rid of MJ and Victoria and the other one who was saying that the other girl was a prostitute and like stuff like that. Well, I thought once you get rid of those, you get rid of those cancers, that the rest of the group would, one, have been bonded by the fact that they were sort of dealing with all of them at the same time, but then also being able to get through all of it, to get through to the end and just be like, okay, we can be better than this, we can be nicer than this, and they're just not. Jasenia was just at the target of MJ literally last week.
Yeah.
Like, and just like MJ was just bullying Jasenia into oblivion last week. And Jasenia is the one leading the charge against Heather when she comes into the room. It's like you're no better than anybody else.
Yeah.
I agree.
They all seem quite immature. I don't know if they're necessarily assholes, but they're certainly quite immature.
I think it's making for a more interesting end to this season than the Bachelorette had, because the Bachelorette had, because we all agreed at the end, or when me and Anthony were talking about, was all the guys were pretty good. You know, they had some weird.
They had to bring Bennett back because they had nothing to talk about.
Well, that was the thing where all the guys at the end were super great dudes. Like, we agree with this, and now at the end, I'm kind of like, some are decent, but it just feels like I don't have someone I'm rooting for like I did when I was the Bachelorette.
I don't think they're like bad people.
No, but someone I like rooting for. I don't feel good rooting for any of them, really.
They just all seem like they have a lack of confidence, which maybe that'll change in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, no, I think really it's who's left. It's Michelle, Bree, Serena C,
And Rachel.
Serena P. Sorry,
It's
and
just
Rachel.
Serena now.
Yeah, just Serena. Yeah, we're at a point now where it's and I've been on this train since the beginning. I've been riding the Bree train since week 1 of
You
our
have?
tiers. I think I had her in my Dale tier week 1. Then nothing's changed. She's never flexed lower than that, I don't think, for me. So let's just go ahead and I mean, I'm not quitting and saying that she's any lower than that. She is going to win the show.
Okay.
And if she isn't, she's going to make a fabulous Bachelorette.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying who I think is going to win now?
I don't know.
Are
Flow, vibe with it. Vibe with it.
All right.
It needs to be more riffing. We don't have enough of a structure this week to not be able to riff.
All right. I think Rachel's going to win because she, I think, has the smoothest, best interactions with Matt. And even though she's sort of shown that she's a little bit insecure the past couple of weeks, Matt kind of rolled with it and gave her that group date rose. And I don't know. I just think whenever they interact, they seem like they connect very well.
Yeah, I could see it. I think for me, Serena P was a strong contender. I think after seeing her this week, I think she's a strong contender for me. But with the whole thing with the yoga kind of threw me off. Like whenever I appreciate the honesty, I still think she might become like top 2 or might even win because I just see her being ahead of the girls. But the whole thing with her being kind of prudish isn't a turnoff, but it just seemed like Matt wasn't. He wanted someone like more adventurous or more okay with like, being slightly uncomfortable with new activities. And he just kind of it just seemed like he didn't like that as much, but he did appreciate the honesty.
She's a little bit boring.
I mean, yeah, that's one way of putting it. I do think he really appreciated the honesty. So I think that'll get her far because she's really the only one that's really spoken out of, at least in the girls remaining, out of the 4 remaining of like, how she actually really felt about something that she didn't like doing. So, and she was pretty opposed. She was like, that's my first and last experience like that. So,
Yeah, but that's also not being open to things, which is.
But it's also being honest. There's a good medium.
You can have your own moral boundary on what you do for certain things.
You
like
can.
that.
You
Yeah.
can. I'm not saying like she's a bad candidate for winning, but like I don't know. She showed a lack of openness that concerns me.
I think there has to be a happy medium, and I think her being uncomfortable with that doesn't make her like not open to certain other things. I think it'll really come down to hometown and her parents.
It wasn't necessarily that she didn't like that yoga thing. That was really strange, but it was the way she spoke about it after that said a lot to me. She talked about how she's just not always comfortable with things, and like you don't have to be comfortable with everything. That's not what I'm saying, but like I don't know. She just gave me a vibe that she's kind of closed to new experiences in a lot of ways.
That's understandable. Okay. I could see how you take it that way. Yeah.
What else happened later on? We had
2 girls kind of off themselves.
Yeah, a little further on in the episode, there was that like group date thing where Matt was going through and just trying to figure out where people were, if people were comfortable with hometowns being the next week or whatever.
Yeah, because it's a big deal.
Did they describe how hometowns were working?
They haven't yet, and I don't think we watched the previews, so I didn't see how they were going to set up, whether it's they actually go, which I assume they're definitely not doing because this was during COVID times. Yeah. So they're probably doing the same thing they do with Bachelor
Or they put up a bunch of cardboard cutouts of skyscrapers and like walk around.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the important part is they meet their family. It is fun seeing them go to their hometown, like in other seasons, but the important part is Matt meeting the family and like seeing how he vibes with them, because ultimately those are going to be your in-laws if you choose to marry someone for the rest of your life. Or if you're like statistics in The Bachelor, like 90% they're going to be your in-laws for like a year or 2, and then they're no longer.
Or not at all. They're going to be your future in-laws for a bit there.
Exactly.
No, I'm curious because I mean I don't know. It's probably pretty obvious. I don't really like this season that much. I'm pretty fucking bored.
Yeah. This ending is kind of going to be
it's boring. Matt's boring. The show's boring. It's like the whole like I guess all of the concept of the show right now is I think so much of this, and obviously it can be dependent on the actual cast of girls that are on the show. So you know how earlier on in American Idol, like old school American Idol, like
with Randy.
Yeah, it used to be fun, like earlier on in every season.
Yeah, I used to watch American Idol.
Yeah, early in the season.
Yes.
I probably wouldn't watch past the auditions. I don't really ever remember watching past the auditions.
Well, because that was the humorous part.
That's the funny part.
Yeah.
The funny part is watching the people that are bad at singing with weird personalities somehow get through and stuff like that. That's the fun part to me. And then all the good people get through, and it's like, okay, we get it. You're good at singing. Like at this point, it's just watching good people be good at what they're good at, and that's not exciting and fun to me. In a way, I think that's kind of where I'm at with The Bachelor right now, is that like, okay, all of the the train wrecks are gone. Like they've in the past 2-3 weeks, they've officially gotten rid of all the train wrecks.
Yeah.
Everyone there is a good contender. They're all fabulous girls that are all perfectly suitable for Matt in some either in this current situation they're going through in this current universe or in some parallel universe. They all end up with Matt in some capacity.
Yeah. Agreed.
I want to see train wrecks on TV. That's sort of how I started this channel and how I started this account in the first place was just watching pure chaos and train wrecks on TV, and I want that back.
I think this is going back to the point of how we felt with the Bachelorette, which is like the last 4 weeks, or 3 weeks when they have like 5 or 6 good contenders for the Bachelor Bachelorette, just gets boring because at that point it's literally finding a soulmate through actual reasonable and logical steps.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want emotional. We want mayhem.
Rather than women throwing paintballs or paint balloons at each other.
Exactly.
I think maybe I sit there and I go, I sit there and I go, Tayshia was a more charismatic person. I remember near the end of the Bachelorette, I was even sitting there being like, all right, let's like wrap this shit up. Not to this extent. This extent is like, all right, Matt, we got to get this show on the road. All right. And I think it's just because Tayshia's way more charismatic than Matt. Maybe it's because I liked looking at Tayshia more on my screen. Matt's a very handsome dude, but
maybe if they had him doing the rose ceremony shirtless, we'd have more attention to it.
But I'm just saying, Tayshia is a lot more my speed, being a woman. So I'm just. I would watch Tayshia do crossword puzzles on my TV. In a nun outfit. It doesn't matter. Like,
and you're just hoping one of her crosswords somehow ends up being Anthony, this saint or so and so. Yeah.
This
You're like, that's me. That's me.
This Italian saint. I'm like, Anthony.
Tony.
Yeah.
But no, it's something where the show needs one of two things, and it's unfortunate that they cannot have the other. Is that I think it either really needs a very strong, charismatic bachelor or bachelorette, or an absolute train wreck cast or train wreck / entertaining cast of girls. And right now, the cast of girls left can't be entertaining because they're all legitimate candidates be wed to Matt, and Matt's not charismatic. Matt's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
He's so fucking boring.
And I feel like they try and, kind of make up for it with, they had some good single dates. Like tantric yoga seems like a fun activity, but then they had drifting, and I'm like,
the drifting thing seemed fun.
Yeah.
That's one thing where, who was on that? That was Justine. When they do, and I picked up on this, and I'd be interested to see if anyone who's watching this or listens or anything like that, noticed across other seasons, and I noticed it a little bit last season, is that when you have a solo date with somebody and it's not really romantic in any capacity, it seems like it's an opportunity to get people out.
How do you mean, like drifting isn't romantic?
Driving cars is not romantic.
No,
fair enough.
Hot air balloon ride, romantic.
Pranking someone,
pranking people, exactly, not romantic at all.
Getting your chakras read. Last season, with I think was like
with Blake, that was an excuse to say that our chakras aren't in line. You need to get the fuck out of here.
I think you're onto something where it's like if there's an element of a lack
there's
of romance,
always an angle. Yeah. It's like oh hey, let's go get butt naked and straddle each other in the middle of the forest. I think that's probably one that you save for the for a good candidate.
I think I agree to that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. There's only one question now that could keep this show interesting. When the boy gonna fuck?
That happens in the Fantasy Suite episode, so it'll be after hometowns, because you can't really fuck while everyone's.
Well, your parents are there.
In town.
Why not?
But I think so. What they had last year
Secrecy.
is they had it narrowed it down to 2. It was narrowed down to 2, and then Ben came back, and then she got rid of Ivan and kept Ben, and that was weird. But she Tayshia had. We presume that she had sexual intercourse with Ivan.
It showed them jumping on the bed.
No, that wasn't Ivan. That was
No, I mean, I'm saying one of them was
Zach.
jumping on the bed. Yeah.
But like Ivan was like, we stayed up all night and watched the sunrise, and I was like, yeah, all right. I don't know if there was.
I don't know if it was the sun that was rising.
Well, I don't know if there was actually the way that it was described wasn't like I wasn't reading through it as him being like, yeah, you know what we did? We made breakfast the next morning. Like it wasn't anything like that. It was something where I was genuinely like, he might have sat there crisscross applesauce and just watched the sunrise with her sitting next to him, just like not touching each other.
His feet are turning blue by the end of the night.
Yeah, well, no, not even that. Like almost something where I don't know. Maybe he just never makes a move or anything like that, and like. That's what I figured is I wouldn't have been actually shocked if he had done nothing.
I think it's also to
But
kind of
they're literally at the fantasy suites.
yeah. I think it's
Like,
to cater
that
to
is the time.
it's to
So
cater
you
to a
ha-
wider
you-
audience.
So
You
it's not
have
going to
to-
be a surprise. It's just going to be some setup thing.
Yeah,
It'll be something where Mal will be.
Well, that's no fun.
They'll go on like he'll go on probably a solo date. I think with like the last 3 of them or something like that. I don't know how this is gonna work. Right? How many weeks are there left?
4.
4 weeks. So next week
So they're going to get rid of one person.
is next week the first
Okay.
of 4 weeks left.
Yeah,
Okay. So next week there'll be 4 people. At least one of them will go. We'll assume there'll be 3 left after that. And then that'll probably be the fantasy suite episode. He might take like 2 to the fantasy suite.
and then
And,
might
like-
have like a recap week.
A recap week before that, and then so that's 1.
That was
the
3.
2, 3. A recap week and
Finale.
then finale. Okay, cool. That might be how it all shakes out.
Yeah,
And if that's how that works, then that works good with our timeline. But yeah, I think he probably takes 2 to the fantasy suite or something like that.
I agree. I think like I was saying, I think it caters to a wider audience because you want to cater to basically in cable television to cater as many people as possible. I think it's not explicitly stating they had sex, but kind of implying it caters to conservative people and more liberal people. You know,
they've talked about sex and
No,
stuff like that.
they've talked about it, but
in
they
the
never
show
had
before.
it. But they've never like explicitly said like, yeah, that's right. I was with her last. Like the producers would never put that
No,
on
they've
TV.
done that.
Where they've been like, I've had sex with Tasha. With who?
Not with Tasha. In the Hannah B season from a few years back, there's a really bad dude named Luke P. Do you remember Luke P?
No, but his name is Luke P. It's funny.
Continue.
That's the funny part.
It's fitting.
The Luke was this like short dude, like ripped dude, but had like a really weird ego complex thing. Managed
so
to
he
like
had a tiny penis.
I don't know, dude. I haven't seen it. And he managed to like manipulate her into keeping him for a lot longer. I managed to manipulate her into getting rid of dudes and stuff like that, and like did all this sort of shit, right?
Okay.
He's like born again.
Really? Like after the show?
No, before.
Oh, okay.
So he was like, I used to do drugs and drink and have sex all the time, and my life was crazy. And then I found Jesus again, and then blah blah. And he went, and one of his stipulations with being born again was like, I would have a really serious issue if you had sex with any of the other dudes in the house. And then she's like, well, that's not up to you. That's my thing. And he's like, whatever, that makes you like impure and stuff like that. And then she's like, well, actually, I have had sex with other dudes in the house. And she said that
okay.
on the show.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Long way of saying yes.
Yeah.
They will say it. They do say it. They don't really shy away from it. They don't really have to shy away from it so much.
I don't know. It just felt like to me they were trying to cater to a wider audience, especially when I was watching The Bachelor. It felt that way.
Yeah.
It could be
It
totally.
is not a show for children.
Yeah, I would assume not.
Yeah. So they can say whatever the fuck they want. But yeah. What else we got in this show? Kit left.
Sadly,
Yeah,
Kit-
that was
Kit's gone.
one thing I wanted to say about Kit. I was actually going to. I was planning this in my brain as I was watching the episode, and then she just bolted. But I'll still talk about it. I thought the way she interacted with him at the group date was really interesting because she got like really like, I don't want to say controlling, but she just like set everything she wanted from him out. And he didn't really seem put off by it. I mean, he's kind of a pushover still. So like, he probably would have been fine with that. I don't think he wanted her to leave the show. I think he might have given her a rose if she lasted till the end of the episode. But I think she just got so like locked up in that, and then when she didn't get the group date rose, she got very upset.
yeah. I mean, she did come down to her. She was saying like she probably wouldn't want a kid until at least like 25, 26. And she says, oh, she needs someone to be your cheerleader and stuff. I think it
He
ultimately
didn't push back on any of it though.
No, he didn't push back. What I got the feeling was that like she found out like she wasn't ready for that type of commitment. I mean, if you think about it, she's a year younger than us. Could you like? And we know people, or I at least know people that have been married.
2 years younger than me.
Yeah, or 2 years younger than you. I think she ultimately realized, like, do I really want to be in this for the long run? And I just don't. I think she kind of had a little bit in herself to say, no, I'm not ready.
No,
And I think that's responsible.
her.
I think she
biggest-
just got butthurt because she didn't get the rose.
That's it.
I
Yeah,
don't think
'cause-
so.
Well, no, because right before that, she went into the room with Matt and asked him the question, like, "Hey, is this for real? Do you feel this? Blah blah blah." And then when he reassured her that, like, yeah, you're here for a reason. You're here because I feel like I have a genuine connection with you. She said right after that in her IDR, I can see myself marrying this guy. She said that.
Okay, yeah, but I just feel like
And then less than 10 minutes later, after the rose was given to somebody else, it was given to Rachel, and she was being serenaded by the musical stylings of Aloe Black, aka the man.
yes, right.
And that's when she had her meltdown. She's like, I don't think I can do this. And it's like, well, you clearly thought you could, and now you know that it's going to be harder than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but isn't that? But that is a style of what I'm talking about. Is because she realized.
You're saying that she's getting cold feet about
not cold feet.
her age and knowing where
That's
she
exactly
is
what you
in
said.
life.
No,
that's
not-
pretty. That's
not-
I thought that was what you said.
That's not cold feet. What I'm saying, cold feet to me would be like if she was too nervous to do it or something like that. What I'm saying is, I just felt like she realized that she didn't want to actually get married.
That's cold feet. That's what cold
I also don't
feet
think that's the
is.
case.
I think it is.
I think if Matt wanted to marry her, she would have got married.
No, I don't think so.
You think if Matt wanted to marry her and took her to the end, that she wouldn't want to do it at the end?
She was saying that in her reasoning. Yeah.
Is the reason that
She's
she
just
told
covering up the fact that she's butthurt.
the
that
reasoning
didn't
that
get
she was
that
telling to
rose.
Matt
Yeah.
to get out of it.
Okay, well, there's one where there's either, so then she was either lying to Matt or she was lying to the DR, and we also don't know the time span of when that DR. We know it took place after the events, but
She just got
No,
all
it
upset.
took, no,
when
it
she
took
didn't
place.
get the
It took
rose.
place before the first IDR where she sat there and goes, "I can see myself marrying him." Happens before she has her meltdown and goes back to him again.
Yeah,
chronologically, because you can't summon those emotions after that fact.
well, she realized that Matt didn't chose her, so she's not ready for it to even be on the show or compete. So she wasn't ready to be married.
That's not what happened.
I'm not sure.
That's fine. We're all about disagreeing here.
She just got upset because she didn't get what she wanted.
Yeah, and then that when she saw that he was giving that attention to somebody else after she thought she had some sort of genuine connection, that's when she started to rationalize
Which
her
I think
way
she
out of
did.
it. What do you say?
I think Matt was pretty upset when she left.
No, yeah, I mean, I think.
Yeah, I assume. No, I'm not. This isn't about Matt.
I don't think the issue is the fact that she was, like, I think that she genuinely thought she had a good connection with Matt, and I think that after her conversation with Matt, she probably thought it was a lot better than it really was. And then when he was able to turn around, even after what he and her had talked about, and give it to somebody else, that's when she's like, "Well, I can't do this anymore."
All right.
It wasn't.
I see what you guys are saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Entitlement.
the reason she gave to Matt seemed more genuine that I got to the show. So if they're not, that's fine. If they were just like reasons to get off the show or whatever, she was
Yeah.
better. That's fine. I'm just saying it seemed those seemed like genuine concerns she brought up. If that's not the case, that's not the case. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that maybe it's some element of it, but I don't know how you make it this far, and be clearly as upset as she was. I mean, maybe she's a fabulous actress, but she seemed very upset with sort of how everything was breaking down. And when it came down to that, it was like, if she didn't really want to get married in the first place, one, I don't think everyone who comes onto The Bachelor or Bachelorette has the intent of winning. I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think it's the case either. We talked about this before as well.
Growing your brand is so much of it.
Yeah, and she's a fashion designer.
Makes crappy stuff.
Right. I'd love to look at her. I could look at her social blade and see. Here, I'll do that.
Yeah, see her increase since week
yeah.
1, since January,
Yeah.
what, 10th or something.
Buy some time.
Yeah. So, and it was unlike the other person who I think we skipped over initially chronologically was
Abigail.
Abigail. Who
I thought
left.
it was exactly the same thing.
I don't think it was the same thing because Abigail straight up was like, "Hey, how do you feel about me?" and basically put it on Matt. So she wasn't saying I'm leaving. So she goes,
Yeah, and Matt said like, what did Matt say?
Matt didn't give the answer he gave to Kit. Matt was basically like, I feel like our relationship has gone a different path than with the other girls. Like he hasn't made that strong connection with her as he had with the other girls. So he basically made the choice to send her off because he couldn't commit to her.
Oh,
It was almost the opposite.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So that's why I feel like the two send-offs were opposite in the way they went about, one being on Matt, one being on the other person. And I think it was interesting the producers chose to send off 5 people or 6 people actually this week. Something like that, whatever. Basically half the remaining cast with 4 weeks to go,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Well, now they're just going to get rid of one a week for the rest of the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's good. It just feels like that's insanity. That's so crazy to me that that's happening like that. Which it makes it feel like they're definitely going to have that second to last be like a full recap. Like get rid of one, and then have 2 in the finale. But yeah.
Holy moly, dude! She had. Sorry, this thing's Social Blade sucks on the phone. Jesus Christ. She got. Forgive me. She gained 130,000 followers in the past 30 days.
What is she at now then?
She is at 147,000.
So she had almost 1,000% increase in and like an 800% increase in followers.
Yeah, it says 100% increase in followers.
Well, I mean, if you
100% in the past, I don't know, followers for the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 17,000 to 140,000, 147,000.
Yeah.
So that's almost an 800. So she almost has 8 times her amount of followers she had since starting the show, which is incredible for her brand, her own image. She's also positioned herself well on the show, like she didn't really start with drama.
Sorry. No, I'm an idiot.
She's not going to be a Bachelor.
No, her total followers is 242,000. So she's gained 100% of her. She's doubled up.
Okay, so not 17 to 1,000. Okay,
yeah. It's weird. I read the followers. It says followers rank, and I read it as 147,115th as 140,000. Whatever.
I understand. So anyway, that's done great for her image. I misspoke. Not as the Bachelorette. I meant like as a contestant. She's done well to improve her brand image and all that stuff. And she didn't start any drama really.
Yep.
So she's coming out with a positive impact on her life ultimately.
So you're saying that she didn't care about the show and she just had ulterior motives?
I never said that. I think she went into it probably with half and half intentions, and she came out, figuring out she didn't want to be with this guy, or she didn't see it long term, but whatever the reason was, and she came out with a positive social media following, which she really needs to be a fashion person.
I think she's just a rigid person who was expecting something to go one way and it didn't go her way, and she didn't want to compete anymore.
It's like, why not go into the show expecting 2 things? That you're going to increase your brand, and then you might fall in love and marry someone for the rest of your life. I mean, you might as well go in with both of those intentions. One of them we saw this week. I can't remember. Was it Bree lost her or resigned from her job to be on the show?
Quit her job, yeah.
Which is, I feel like a great, not a great personal image for future jobs, but good for like social media and showing she's a good person, like wants to find love for the show.
Yeah, if you're talking about building up goodwill with Matt, if he wants to know that someone's there for, I mean, he said it himself. He's like, yeah, she's here for me. She there's nothing to go back to. And it's also something to consider too. Is, I mean, all these girls sacrifice, or most of them. I mean, obviously, they all come from different situations. So, like, some of them are like trust fund kids and like Instagram models and shit like that. So they already have a ton of money and ton of followers and shit, where they don't necessarily need to do it to like come on. Like, coming on doesn't really. There's no risk for them. But we saw with the last one, people like quit their jobs and stuff like that, and they have to buy all their own clothes and pretty much pay for their own flight out and pay for their own meals and shit. Like they all like that was the way it was in The Bachelor, at least.
Yeah,
like
it's almost like an investment.
You have to like take out a loan and shit to like pay for all your clothes. They were like, it's legit. Like The Bachelor doesn't give them any sort of stipend or anything like that to ABC doesn't give them any money.
Yeah, they only pay the main person. Yeah, the Bachelor or Bachelorette.
Yeah, and I mean I sit there and I go like, I wonder how much they actually pay them.
There's a report that came out this year that was about, say, $250,000, I think, to reappear.
That's like somehow for some reason it's not that much.
For being in that position, I don't think so.
For a show that makes as much money as the show does.
Yeah, for one of the best like reality TV shows.
What do you say?
High margins.
The wicked high margins.
Oh yeah,
especially when you don't have to pay any of the cast.
Who they got to pay? The boy who just quit.
Well, it's like all the shows.
That's it.
Like Big Brother. I was always curious if they paid people like the cast of the show, and they do.
It's ranked, right? Like top 10.
No, but you get paid like a stipend for like every week you're there.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like every position you get paid a little bit more.
Then there are like bonuses for the longer you last and like competitions you win and shit like that. But like, I was just trying to figure out like I guess all of that and just see. And in the process of doing so, that's when we found out that the contestants on The Bachelor and Bachelorette make squat. They don't make anything. But yeah, what else happened in this episode?
I think we're pretty much coming up to the end of that. I mean, there was a final rose ceremony that brought it down to 4 people, I think we were saying.
We didn't talk about Jacina and Piper getting booted, but I don't think Jacina was that interesting. Piper, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little about the drifting date. That ended up being...
Jacina was out on her... Yeah, it was the date. The drifting date you were about to talk about. That was the Jacina thing.
We were while watching, we were all kind of expecting it to end without a rose because we haven't seen Jacina interacting with them.
Yeah.
So what about Piper?
Piper, I don't recall. I think she was at the...
She was just kicked
she got
out
booted
of
at the rose ceremony.
That's right. Yeah. I have nothing really to add about Piper.
I was high on Piper all season. And
she's pretty.
She's very pretty.
I was surprised. I thought Michelle was gonna get...
I thought Michelle might get booted too. The thing with Piper and the fact that I didn't feel bad about her leaving this week at all is because she was really like spearheading the charge against Heather when Heather came back.
She was the one whose date got interrupted, right?
She was like yelling at her and shit like that, and like Heather apologized and she wouldn't accept the
Oh,
apology.
that's why she got booted. I forgot about that.
That wasn't why she got booted.
It's just the reason I don't like her.
It's a reason I don't like her. It's something that's allowed me to rationalize and like the fact that she's not there anymore.
I mean, I understand why they're all very upset.
Matt didn't even see that part.
Oh, he didn't.
No.
I understand why they were all very upset about that. It was kind of shitty of the Bachelor people.
Well,
but
Matt understood it.
You're not allowed to get angry.
Right, exactly. And it's like...
just be better.
The only way you can win the show is if you have a level head and you give everything you got. You can't just get upset about shit like that. I mean, you can be upset, but you can't...
I mean, it's like how any dating works, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't feel like a lot of people, if you're on like, if essentially these are like the 10th or so date you're having with someone, or maybe even less than that, if they start yelling at waitstaff or random, person walking by being like, how you'd be like, this person's crazy. I don't want them on my show, or I don't want them in my life. Like,
is that what you would say?
If someone was yelling at like a wait staff, that's one thing I don't tolerate is people yelling at customer service.
No,
oh my God, that is like immediate termination.
So sick.
I was just mocking you two for going after the crazies.
Yeah.
No, but like there's just being crazy.
Just being an asshole.
Being
that's
rude.
True.
Yeah.
Being crazy is a huge turn on for me. But when it comes to like being like an asshole to other people. And it's not even just like wait staff. Actually, fuck it. I'll just call it wait staff. Or like my friends. Like the person that I'm with, like they can be an asshole to me all they want. But I really appreciate if they weren't an asshole to my friends.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, that's the whole thing. If you're dating someone, they're like, I really hate this other guy. Like if I was dating someone, they're like, I really hate Anthony. I'm like, what specifically do you hate? Because
What specifically do you hate?
Because we may be on the same page, and if we are, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me exactly how much you hate.
But if she says something I don't agree with, she's out of here. I'm like, no, I actually like that part.
Actually.
Oh, that's too funny.
But no, that's something where I need to stop fucking going out to dinners and lunches and shit like that with people that are bad to customer service people. I'm so sick of people that like suck at tipping.
Yeah, I don't
listen, are rude, hitting. Like, I don't care if you hit on the waitress. You can hit on the waitress all you want, but just like know your limits.
If they tell you to stop, stop.
No waitress has ever. I've never been in a situation where a waitress ever told someone to stop because it's
you can see she wants to say
usually bad for business. But read between the lines.
I've been on the other side of that situation. It's quite fun.
You've been hit on?
No, I have yelled at someone who was hitting on one of the bartenders at.
That's not the other side. I guess it is the other side of the situation.
Side? That's not even like a coin. That's like a six-sided die.
It's auxiliary side to
the waitresses don't want to yell at you because
has 5 walls.
We get bad tips.
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone's creeping on one of the bartenders, they'd sick me on them because I didn't get a tip from them.
That's actually fair. That's actually good method.
I was a bar back. For the record.
I feel like
you didn't get tip, but I don't know. They play it super. They usually play it very careful, and they'll just like give you like the haha like No, I have a boyfriend thing.
One
or
word
whatever.
answer.
Yeah. Like I know when people are uncomfortable. Like I'm not.
I'm not accusing
I'm not
you
a
of anything.
no.
That's not what
I'm
saying.
just saying I'm not a social idiot. Like I can read signs. I understand social cues.
Some people just can't, and it's really disturbing. It's the same thing. Like I feel like
fucking sucks. I was
Disgusting.
at breakfast with this kid, and like it was a whole group of people. I don't think any of them fucking listen to this, so fuck them. But this kid like ordered avocado toast, or his girlfriend ordered avocado toast, and
Oh God.
and she thought it was like an avocado omelet or something like that, and like it came and she was like sort of disappointed with what it was because she thought she ordered something else but she didn't, and then he looked at the price on it because he thought it was like the avocado omelet that she ordered or whatever, and he was like, it's like this is how much this costs, and he's we're sitting in a corner booth. It is like prime COVID. It is probably 3-4 months ago,
oh wow.
and like
Oof.
I'm begging for him to just calm down and just like, oh, we can like sort this out, no issue, like maybe it's something else, maybe it isn't as expensive as it is on the menu or whatever. And he gets up in the corner booth and screams robbery over and over again, pointing at the waitress to like come back to the table. And people thought I was joking and kidding when I put the napkin over my face. I dropped the napkin on my head and sat there in complete and utter silence, practically weeping in embarrassment.
Yeah.
And like they were all like, "Oh, like he's overreacting." I was like, dude, I hate being around you right now."
It's like at that point, I always wonder. It's like, have you ever worked customer service?
The answer
in
is
your
the
life?
answer's usually no.
Yeah.
This kid maybe. This kid maybe he might have actually.
It's
but
like I've never worked in a restaurant. But I've worked we've worked in 2 of the same job.
It's the same.
Oh my god! It's like it's just I feel like once you work customer service, you get that look of understanding of I should definitely not be doing this right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because when you get treated that way, you remember.
Well, not even that. Just like every single day.
But being
I
nice
have-
is how you get what you want in that situation anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the other element of
Yes.
it too. Is that you sit there and as someone who had worked in service jobs since high school all the way up through my pretty much my senior year of college, pretty much.
Mhm.
It really really tough to ever want to go to work.
Yeah.
You didn't go to work because you loved the job. You didn't go to work because you loved everything about it. Sometimes you'd enjoy your fellow coworkers.
Yes.
That wasn't the only reason you would go, but they'd make it better for you. You would rather spend your time not at work. No one ever worked their service industry job and goes, boy, oh boy, another day at the like putting the ankle weight, putting the shackle back on their ankle, being like, boy,
For
oh
8
boy.
hours, yeah.
It's like tighten me up. Like that's not how that works. And you have to understand that every time I go into any sort of situation where I'm at a store or at a restaurant or whatever, I have to assume that person hates their job.
Yeah.
What is my job in that role? 1, to get the goods and services from them that I need. And then 2, to also not make their life any harder. And then I would say 3, to try and make their life a little better if I could possibly do that.
Oh yeah.
But-
There's nothing worse than someone going there and you know that their life they're gonna make you like hate your job even more. So inherently, like if someone treats me poorly at a service job, I would never tell my bosses, but I would go out of my way to kind of not give them the service they wanted.
Yes.
It would be like, oh hey, you need this in a size size medium? I'll be right back, and I'd take my 30-minute lunch break and
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
oh, they might still be up there, but who
Right.
cares?
Yep.
You know
I
what I mean?
don't
But
care.
if someone's nice to me, I would go out of my way to help them sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Just be understanding, be thankful, grateful, and
Yeah.
it goes so far. It's not even, it's more than even just like the monetary thing. Obviously, like if a server is good, tip them appropriately.
Oh yeah.
But if you're just pleases and thank yous, like it's not going to work with everybody. Like obviously, like some people have like are having a much worse day than a please and a thank you can cure up.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if,
like
if you can make their day a little bit better, that's good.
Or just keep it neutral.
if they just don't hurt,
Yeah.
if you leave the situation net neutral, call it a win.
Yeah.
Call it a win.
I
Sure.
do you guys do that thing where I don't know if you do. I feel like every time I'm at serving or I'm being served food, I thank them way too much. Like
I overthink nonstop.
oh my god, it's like they fill my water. I'm like, thank you 3 times, and then they'll fill someone else's, and sometimes I'll inherently say it for them, and I'm like, that's not what I meant. But I overthank people all the time when
I
they
mean,
start
eye contact and a smile.
There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
No, just whenever I do it, they leave and I'm like, I think I thanked them like 7 times in the course of 4 seconds.
The funny thing is, so this is filmed in Brookline, Massachusetts, and we, I go to a lot of like coffee shops and stores around here in Brookline, and like I have experience in the service industry, and you know I know how much it can suck sometimes, and like Brookline people are notorious for being crotchety assholes to service people.
Sure are.
So it's great because around here, a lot of the
It's not the same. It's not the type of joke that you're thinking.
Yeah.
That joke didn't
What?
get anti-Semitic.
I'm
No, that's Brookline.
No,
people in
it's
general.
it's
That's beyond their.
It's because it's a wealthy town. All wealthy towns are like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jewish. I wouldn't make an anti-Semitic joke. That wouldn't make any sense.
That's why I was gonna say if you want to make the anti-Semitic joke,
That's why my eyes
you're
are
gonna-
wide.
Yeah.
But so like hanging around here at like coffee shops and stuff, if I'm a regular, the service staff always like me a lot because I'm not a difficult piece of shit like a lot of people in this town are. And it's just like, why would you be a jackass? Like, you're not gonna get what you want. You're not gonna get, you know, if someone like fucks up your coffee or you don't know how to order a coffee, which is usually what happens, like they're not gonna want to fix it for you.
Yeah. It's
You
just,
know?
it's important, especially when you like. I mean, I'm trying to always keep things as good as I possibly can when I walk in somewhere. So
Of course.
It's like, just be nice. Don't be a cunt. There you go.
Don't be a cunt.
That's. Mm-hmm.
This is fair.
Anything else for this show? Or are we gonna?
Well, we need to go through our tiers. We're not going to do our tiers, but we need to talk about them
yeah, we can
because
talk
ultimately, we all ended up tying this week with +3.
about 'em. Yeah, after all of that and our tiers being different, Spencer and I only had one switch up. We only had one differ
Right.
across our entire bit.
And it was up top, so it didn't.
It didn't
really
affect
matter.
really our tiers at all. Andrews were completely different than ours in the whole scheme of things, but as everything broke down, we all ended up with about the exact same score,
Yeah.
golf score. So yeah,
So congrats, everyone. We're all winners.
We all fucked up real hard on Abigail, but we did pretty well with the rest of them.
yeah. Abigail
Yeah.
was all in our Dale tier. I don't know. I don't even know why we kept her that high for it. In retrospect, why do we keep her that high? It was the first impression rose that did it, right? Where we just had the first impression rose.
She just seemed to have a good connection with him, and
Yeah.
I think she put him off when she talked to him today.
See, that was the whole thing. She wanted to rush things, and that's just not
She
what.
put him off.
Yeah. I think that's also the producers being like, you definitely can't just decide right now. You can't be a Dale two seasons in a row. We can't have that.
Can't have two Dales.
You can't have two
There's
Dales.
only one Dale, and there only will
If we're
ever
talking
be one
about
Dale.
the next Bachelorette, I think we've got basically at this point in time probably a 2-horse race.
Who was the other one we said?
Is Abigail and Katie.
Was it Katie or was it? No, you're right. It was Katie. I was thinking Sarah for some reason in my
No,
back of my mind.
Probably,
Yeah.
probably I would say Abigail and Katie. I think we're gonna get one of those two, unless it's some sort of weird thing where we get like the Matt situation where they just pull a girl out of thin air.
I don't think they're gonna do that again.
Yeah, they really need to get someone with I think some TV training.
Yeah. I think
Some
as
TV
well.
I think one season of TV experience would be excellent for whoever they bring in.
I can't wait to see who they get for the next season. I'm not looking forward to the next season. I'm looking forward more to Big Brother and Survivor.
The challenge. We should for sure do the challenge next season.
We can try. I watched like an episode and I was like, okay.
I love it.
It's just so hard to talk. I mean, I guess other than do a recap of it.
I mean, what do we do here?
I mean, we do a recap, but we can talk about the personality. I guess we could do the same with the challenge. It just felt like the format was a little bit harder to structure, but we'll figure it out.
I think
How about that?
it might be
Talk
harder
about
to
anything.
structure, but I think the challenge ones we could even make them like shorter episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The challenge is my favorite show on TV right now, and like there aren't that many reality TV shows that are running that I'm really enjoying. So, Big Brother will be back soon.
Probably this summer. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
always
thought
the
they might do a celebrity one this winter or something, and nothing. Big Brother Canada starting soon.
Ooh. Yeah.
We could maybe swing a Big Brother Canada one. I have to figure out
What is it?
how
A
we can watch
competition
it.
with a bunch of moose, eh?
It isn't people. It's got people in it. Um,
Moose people.
Not moose. Moose.
Moose.
Moose?
I'm up in Canada with the moosey.
Is moose plural of moose?
Moose, plural of moose.
Isn't it?
It
That
is
was
now.
just moose.
That was just moose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what
moose.
moose. Is that a Z now?
It's more of a
But-
slip of the tongue than anything else, I think.
I'd be down for that. And also, the other thing we have to do is we each kind of set our winner. Mine, I think it was Bree for you, since you've had our week one.
Mhm.
You said
Rachel.
I'll go with Serena P.
So I'm not quitting on Brie anytime soon.
So does this mean, who are we saying goes home next week? Because we're predicting that only one person goes home, because that's kind of how logically it should work out.
I think it's. I don't know. I would guess probably Serena, right?
I was also. gonna
I
say
might go
Serena.
Rachel.
I'm gonna go Serena.
I think I'm gonna go Rachel on the people.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a curve. Who's the other one that's there? Michelle.
Michelle.
I think I'm gonna go with Michelle.
I'm gonna go,
Michelle wouldn't be a curveball. She's the only one we didn't pick in our quest to pick
Which
a
is a
winner.
curveball for us. I don't know for Matt. Like for us, yes.
That would be the expected one.
Because we each have our top first. We have our first place, and then there's 3 other ones we
Right.
didn't decide on.
But the only one that none of us picked was Michelle, so it's not really a.
Yeah, but she could have been our second or third place. That's not
She-
That's not the overlapping.
She's
feature.
my second place for the record.
Okay, all right, fair enough. She's gonna be my bottom.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Let's say, who am I getting rid of? Who am I getting rid of? Oh yeah. It's Rachel. Rachel's gone next week. Either Rachel or Serena, right? I mean, I can't go ahead and hedge both of them. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip a coin in my head. It's just to decide whether
Heads.
give. No, I haven't flipped it yet. Give Rachel something and don't tell me. Make Rachel either heads or tails and don't tell me.
I was
Okay.
gonna make a joke. But I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, so whichever one I flip in my head and I land on, that person's going to go, right? So remember, Rachel is whatever one's in your head and don't tell me, all right? So I'm flipping it now. Tails.
Rachel.
Rachel's gone next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad I flipped my coin the way I did.
That was such an unnecessarily complicated way to do that.
No, because Andrew, you don't understand though, because like I can visualize things. I was able to visualize a coin flipping in my head and how it landed.
I literally had to keep saying tails, Rachel. I literally was like, I know I'm gonna not be able to do this.
No, I was sitting there and like you saw my eyes kind of roll up. That was me in my head going, flip the coin. There it goes. Lands. It even did like one of those little things where it, like bounces and it's like sits and maybe like spins on its side
Rolls
and then
a little
drops.
bit,
Yeah.
What if it just stayed on its side? Didn't it go heads or tails? It just landed right in the crease.
like
So that would have been a fucking problem,
It's
wouldn't
like
it?
the top from Inception.
yeah. It just you never know.
But
All right.
yeah, cool. Here we are. Chris Harrison not going to come back next season for the foreseeable future.
Yep. think-
I need to do more research into the Rachel Lindsay thing.
Yeah, I only read an article. It could be biased, so I'll do more research as well, just to see what exactly happened, because there's a lot of
Yeah,
I
hadn't been really absorbed in a lot of reality TV stuff for the past week. I've been extremely busy with work and whatnot, but I think I owe it to myself and to probably anybody else who's involved with the Bachelor community to go ahead and be involved, because I know that there were a lot of girls that are currently on this season that are pretty outraged with some of the stuff that happened. I think around Rachel
around Rachel.
Yeah,
from this season.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened.
Kurt Connell.
Okay, yeah,
from
yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
They were outraged by some of the stuff with that, and then Chris Harrison got on a like a phone call,
Yeah,
like a
interview.
WebEx Zoom with Rachel Lindsay, who used to be on. She was on The Bachelor a few seasons ago, and now she does a whole bunch of stuff for entertainment or ABC or something. She has some sort of affiliation with a lot of networks and stuff. So I owe it to myself and to everybody else to be better informed in that. So
Right.
due to come, like I don't know whether I'll ever voice an opinion on here or not, but I think I should know a lot better. Yeah. So Chris Harrison, we'll see what it kind of develops with that. He said for the foreseeable future, so we'll find out. I guess. I thought he was a producer on the show.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he must be.
If you're on for this long on a show, I'm pretty sure they just give you a producer tag.
well, I
He
think
also
yeah,
hosts-
he'd have good ideas.
he
He's probably
also-
been along longer than most people who work on the show.
He's also the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, isn't he?
I don't know.
Is he?
I think he is these days. He's the host of one
Is
of those.
Millionaire still a show?
He's the host of one of those game shows.
I have
on
no
during the
idea.
midday.
I didn't know Millionaire was still a show.
Millionaire was a midday show.
I don't know. Maybe during its peak, it was like a 7 p.m. on a Friday show because people didn't have anything better to do.
Dude, what are you talking? It's presented by. It says Jimmy Kimmel right now.
Jimmy
What?
Kimmel's on.
Chris
Who
Harrison did
Wants
present
to
it.
be a millionaire.
He presented Millionaire?
Yeah, he did. I'm trying to figure.
I knew
out,
Chris Harrison did.
I'm really trying to figure out who the heck is doing this.
Jimmy Kimmel, really?
Jimmy Kimmel did. I think for a time.
Really?
I don't know. Regardless, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Weird episode. I'll be honest. I feel a little zoned out. I have just been watching Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah, I put it
For
on
the
the
past, like,
background because I'm a
45 minutes.
child.
But it's good because I don't like to make eye contact with people when I talk anyway.
No, you're very self-conscious.
No, it's not even that. I just zone out and I could just say the words that come to my head.
What's this? This is the Chuck Jones one with the robot dog, right?
I have no idea.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I
my
literally have
friend.
been looking this way to you guys.
Yeah, as we've been staring by you the whole time.
Yeah. It's how most conversations
Yeah,
go.
we're not looking at you. Sorry, bud.
But yeah, so thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Reality Wagon Bachelor podcast. We're up on a few different platforms. YouTube video didn't go up last week. We had some issues with the video, but it'll be fixed and they'll be up this week. We are up on iTunes and Spotify. On Spotify, you can toss us a follow, get an automatic download to your device. Spotify is a great platform. I personally use iTunes, so the Apple Podcast app. That's the best way to do it for me. Same deal. You can subscribe to us, get the automatic downloads to your device. You'll also get the opportunity to give us 5 stars and a comment. Those are great. No one really ever gives them to us, but I'll say it anyway. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Wagon. We post a lot on both. On Instagram, you can go check out the cameo that On the Wagon bought for us from Heather Martin. I just chuckle to myself out loud. I chuckle out loud anytime I see the video remotely. Like as you were sitting here, I was sitting here just like not editing the video, but like finding a way to upload it to our Instagram and take it off Twitter and stuff like that. And every time I saw it and I heard the audio, it goes, Anthony and Andrew, and I go, please fucking stop. Like it
And
makes
Spencer.
me. She didn't say Spencer though. Spencer.
I know. I'm still butthurt about it.
I know. She just didn't say your name. It's all right. She's really hot.
Call me later.
She said my name. Oh my god, she said my
Oh
name.
my god.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so you can go check out that video. You can do all sorts of stuff. We put up all of our tiers and everything. We're not gonna have a tier this week, so we'll find some other content to put up. We'll put up some videos, maybe some clips of this, maybe old clips that we missed for the past couple of weeks, something like that. But yeah, for sure. Anything else from you fellas?
No.
Perfect. Thank you so much again. We'll see you next week for episode 8 of the Reality Wagon Bachelor podcast. My name is Anthony.
My name is Andrew.
My name is Spencer.
Talk to you guys later.